Hello, everybody, and welcome to high school football on WLCS. I'm Tim Elkhorn, and I'll be bringing you today's game. It's an Erie Shores Conference matchup as the Admirals from Admiral King will be taking on the Steelmen from Lorain High School, a game that needs no big hype, big inter-city rivalry. Lorain comes into the ball game today at 1-4, while the Admirals come into the game at 2-3 off a disappointing loss last week to the Sandusky Blue Streak, 17-14. Sandusky with a field goal in the last 30 seconds to win the ball game. Should be an interesting game today. Both teams 1-1 in the Erie Shores Conference, and we'll be back with Admiral King versus Lorain right after this. LCS on Lorain Cable, as tonight we bring you an Erie Shores Conference matchup featuring the Admirals from Admiral King taking on the Lorain High Steelmen. Of course, the Admirals coming off that very disappointing loss last week to the Sandusky Blue Streaks, as Sandusky managed to get a field goal with 28 seconds left in the contest to win by a score of 17-14. Lorain getting their first victory of the campaign last week as they knocked off Midview over here at George Daniel Field. So Lorain comes into tonight's contest at 1-4. I'm joined by Gary Pelter and Sid Scott tonight, and we'll be bringing you the action of Admiral King versus Lorain in an Erie Shores Conference matchup right after this. Lorain, where the starting lineups for both squads are being introduced to the crowd, and it's a big crowd here at George Daniel High School. Technically, the Admirals from Admiral King are the visiting team tonight, but both teams have their legions of fans over here on the near side, near the press box area. The Admirals from Admiral King are in their visiting white uniforms tonight, while the Steelmen from Lorain High School are in their home black uniforms. And we'll go over the starting lineups now. For the Admirals from Admiral King, of course, their quarterback is the 5'10", 155-pound senior, Dan Congilio. Joining him in the backfield will be fullback number 35, Jerome Wicker, and the tailback, the blue chip prospect, number 34, Ray Harris. Ray, a 6'1", 205-pound senior. The wingbacks for the Admirals, number 1, Mike Hutz, and number 29, Marlon Davis. At split end, they rotate 4 players in and out. Number 3, Tony Smith, number 6, Eric Payne, number 23, Bob Brown, and number 39, Vic Perez. In the line for the Admirals, Jay Kunick is the center. The 2 guards are number 74, Dave Zykowski, big 6'3", 235-pound senior. Number 66, Mike Grumbros. And the 2 tackles, the 300-pounder, 6'4", 300-pound Larry Gage, number 77. And the other tackle, number 76, Brian DeMarco. DeMarco wears number 76, as I mentioned, 6'6", 275 pounds. And their tight end is number 89, Jeff Bazoki. The starting offensive lineup for the Lorain High Steelmen, their quarterback is Sean Reardon. In the backfield with him, Eddie Miller and Jeff Zante, along with Chris Chaffee and Pat Nazario. Split end, Chris McGinty. The flanker, number 83, Jim Miller. And the tight end, number 40, John Bareback. 2 tackles, Brendan Minnick and Eric Morgan. The 2 guards, Mike Chaffee and Josh Hall. You'll also see Montel Qualls at guard. And the center is number 55, Dan Ward. So both teams are out on the field and we're ready for action. Again, as I mentioned, the Admirals are in their visiting white uniforms while Lorain High is in their home black with the gold stripe down the side. And again, we'd like to welcome our viewers to this ball game as it's going to be shown on television. Lorain Cable, Channel 36, WLCS. So we hope you enjoy the ball game tonight. I'd like to welcome my partner, Sid Scott.
Tim, it was a struggle once again getting up to the booth, and I talked on the field just before the game. I had the radio tuned in, so I was aware that you were going to go to commercial. Stopped to talk to Mike Smith, the defensive coordinator for the Steelmen. I said, Mike, what's the status of the team tonight? He said, well, we have lost one of our key starters, but everybody feels good. Feels like tonight Sean Reardon's going to come of age and has to have a good ball game for the Steelmen to do well. Also want to take this opportunity to say hello to 3 people, to Robert and Eleanor and Margaret Kudak. We'll see y'all tomorrow afternoon.
Rick Zykuda will kick it off for the Admirals. He tees it up at the 40-yard line. The Admirals will defend the goal to our left. Lorain High will go right to left on your radio dial. Zykuta gets the indication from the official that we're ready to go. And Lorain High is set to go as well. Zykuta puts it in the air, short end over end kick, bounces at the 10, picked up at the 15, out to the 20, to the 25, looking for room up the middle, and dropped at the 27-yard line is Nazario. So it's a first down and 10 for Lorain High. They're at their own 26-yard line. Things just underway here at George Daniel Field in what is always a spirited, hard-hitting ball game between these two inner-city rivals.
One of the great games of the year. It's almost as much of a rivalry as Elyria-Lorain. Not quite as old, Tim, but one where we expect a lot of explosive action.
And the Lorain High Steelmen come out with triple wides to both sides. Reardon in the shotgun, rolling to the right, looking for room to the 20. He's got a lot of room. Now he throws it out in the air, and it's complete out to the 39-yard line. Outstanding play. Chris McGinty hauls it in at the 39.
Beautiful play. Jim Uzinski loading the dice and rolling them. I like it. It's exciting. The fans love it. And, you know, if Sean Reardon had been able to get a little more zip on that ball, Tim, it would have been a touchdown.
What Jim Uzinski did was put triple wides to both sides of the field. Ball's at the left hash mark. First down and 10 for Lorain. Pickup of 15 on the play.
That's what you call a good playground ball. I love it.
And here we go again. And Reardon stands way back, almost in a punting formation. Gets the snap at the 25, rolling to the right. He has time. Now he's looking to get outside. He's to the 30, to 35, to 40, 45, 50. Into Admiral King territory, down to the 40, knocked out of bounds. And it's a wide open offense. And Admiral King is stunned.
I tell you what, we've been talking about the Steelmen running a run and shoot. Well, this time they really came out in it. The last game we had, they were very conservative. But this time, the double spread, the defense not sure what to do.
Reardon was knocked out of bounds at the 32-yard line. So it's first down and 10 for Lorain High, deep in Admiral King territory. And right now, the Admiral defense doesn't really know how to react to this formation. It's 3 wide to the left, 3 wide to the right, and Reardon deep, almost in punt formation. Now they come up in a standard formation, wing to the left, backs are split. Ball to 32. Handoff. Goes to Miller. Miller gets down to the 30. He may have picked up 1 or 2. It'll be second down and 8. Let's set the Lorain High offense for you. Again, quickly, Reardon is their quarterback. Ed Miller and Jeff Zante are in the backfield. Also seeing action will be Chris Chaffee and Pat Nazario in the backfield. Wideouts, Chris McGinty and Jim Miller. Second down and 9. Ball's at the 31-yard line at the right hash mark. No score in the contest, but Lorain High, as Sid said, rolling the dice. Reardon back to pass under a heavy rush, sacked at the 36-yard line. Jeff Bazoki, the defensive end, came in and tracked him down. Loss of 5 on the play. Sets up a 3rd and long situation for the Steelmen. And again, we'll see if they go to that triple wide out set. Triple wide on both sides of the field. 9:50 left here in the opening quarter, and here it is. Triple wide to the right, triple wide to the left. Reardon very deep, standing at his own 46. Good snap. Rolling to the right. Looks, throws, and it's picked off. Riggins with the interception. Out to the 40, to the 45-yard line. Riggins, the linebacker, picked it off. And the Admirals get the first turnover of the ball game.
Third time's a charm, Tim. Third time's a charm.
Reardon was looking for that pass over the middle, and he couldn't quite connect. But again, they went to that same formation, 3 wides to the left and to the right, but the Admirals get the turnover. Dan Congilio brings the troops out, backs her in the eye. Marlon Davis in the wing to the right-hand side. Handoff goes to Harris. Raymont breaks outside to the 50, to the 45, inside the 40-yard line. Down to the 39 of Lorain High. Well, they'll say he stepped out at the 41. Still a big gain for Raymont on his first carry of the night. And quickly, the Admirals are right back in Lorain High territory.
For the first time, we've seen just a wealth of what's going on in terms of the Admirals and the Steelmen coming out and doing explosive things. I don't think it's going to be a ball game, Tim, anybody's going to be very cautious.
First down and 10 for Admiral King. Wicker, the fullback, gets inside the 40, down to the 37. Jerome Wicker reminds me a lot of Larry Kinnebrew.
Yeah, it really does, Tim. And the other thing, you know, we've had Admiral King a number of times. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think this is the first time we've seen the Admirals in their white uniforms. They look a lot like the Denver Broncos out there.
In a sense. Second down.
You wanted me to say the Buffalo Bills.
No. Second down and 6. Ball at the 36-yard line. Wing left. Backs are in the eye. Double tight end. Power football. Pitch back goes to Harris. To the 35. To the 30. Still on his feet. 25, 20. Staggers down to the 11-yard line.
I'll tell you what, if Raymont was able to keep his balance and he stumbles for 10 yards, he's got a touchdown for the Admirals.
But the Admirals now knocking on the door. First down and 10 at the Lorain High 11. 8.5 minutes left here in the first quarter of play. No score, but both teams have moved the ball very well.
They really have, Tim. The Steelmen unfortunately got down to about the 30 or 33-yard line, weren't able to get anything, got the turnover. The Admirals look like they're going in for 6.
Congilio under center, again wing left, double tight end, I formation. Handoff goes to Wicker, and he's stuffed immediately right at the 10-yard line. He ran into Mike Chaffee and Montel Qualls for Lorain High. It'll be second down and 9.
Tell me why coaches, once they get into the scoring territory, go conservative.
I don't know.
At all levels.
Well, Tom El Cisco feels he has the beef up front, and he's got 2 outstanding backs in Jerome Wicker and Raymont Harris, so he'll just try to stuff it down your throat and punch it in for 6.
Well, with that kind of size, you can't argue very much with Coach Tom El Cisco.
Second down and 10. Again, Congilio. Long signal count. Handoff goes to Wicker. Wicker spins loose. Still on his feet. Inside the 10. Down to the 9. So he picks up 2. It'll set up 3rd and 8 from the 9-yard line. Ball at the left hash mark. And the Admirals going into the wind. Same wind as we had last Friday night when we had Sandusky and Admiral King. It's blowing right to left on your radio dial or on your television screen.
Exactly. You know, it's much more ideal football weather for the players tonight. Last week it was more for the fans, but tonight it's players' weather at about 40 degrees, 45 degrees.
3rd and 8, Congilio. Pitch back goes to Harris. Harris looking for room left side. Makes a cut move to the 5, and he gets down inside the 5 to about the 4, maybe the 3. But it'll be 4th down.
Now, the situation is, do you gamble for the 4th down and go for the touch?
Definitely, because if you don't get it, Lorain High has 98 yards to go to strike pay dirt.
I don't know if they have a good kicker, but I certainly would elect to kick a field goal.
Well, let's see. 4th down. They need to get to the 1. The ball is at the 4, so it's 4th and 3. Power I formation to the left, double tight end. Handoff goes to Harris over left tackle, breaks the tackle into the end zone, touchdown. Raymont Harris gives the Admirals a 6-0 lead with 6:23 left here in the first quarter of play as he breaks in from 4 yards out on a 4th and 3 situation.
I believe he followed Larry pressure Gage to the end zone.
Yes, he did.
Even I could find a hole to run through with a guy at 285, 300 pounds in front of him.
So the Admirals break out on top. Akesi will attempt the extra point. Good snap, kick is up, and it no good. It's wide to the left. But the Admirals lead 6-0 with 6:23 left here in the first quarter of play. And we'll be back right after this.
Why you keep giving it to me then?
Zaikuda's kick rolls out of bounds, so the Admirals will kick it over again. 6:23 left here in the first quarter of play, and the Admirals are out on top, 6-0 on a 4-yard touchdown run by Raymont Harris.
Tim, the Admirals actually beat the Steelmen at their own game. What happened, the Steelmen come out in the double spread formation left and right, and they marched from about their 20 down to Admiral King's 30-35, but then a dive stalls with the interception. Admiral King says, okay, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll just give it back to you, and they ground out 65 yards and a touchdown.
So Zaikuda now tees it up at his own 35-yard line, and we'll do it all over again. Zaikuda gets the foot into it, a high kick. Floats and taken at the 11, out to the 20, to the 25, breaking right up the middle to the 39-yard line. On the return is Nazario again. Miller. Eddie Miller on the return.
Tim, we've had more excitement tonight here in the first 6 minutes of the first quarter than I think we had the whole first half in one of our recent ball games. But this is a fan's delight to watch a game like this where you don't know what they're going to come up with formation-wise.
Eddie Miller checks in. Zante goes out. And Lorain High comes out in a standard formation. And there's confusion on the field, and Lorain High has to take a timeout. Eddie Miller was not sure if he should be in this ball game or not. He ran in, he ran out, ran back in again, and finally confusion engulfs the Lorain High squad. So we'll take a break. 6 minutes left here in the first quarter of play. 6-0 Admiral King. We'll be back right after this. Back out here at George Daniel Field. Pitch back goes to Miller, out over the 40 and dropped at the 41-yard line. Hit and hit hard.
Big league hit, Tim, no question about it.
In on the stop for the Admirals, Dave Zykowski, the big 6'3", 235-pound senior. We'll give Miller 3 on the carry. That'll make it 2nd down and 7 for Lorain High. Again, outstanding field position for the Steelmen.
Yeah, they're in a great spot. Let's see if they go back to that spread formation.
McGinty splits to the left. And Zante is in the wing to the right. Backs are split behind Reardon. Miller now comes in motion. Handoff goes to Eddie Miller, and he's dropped at the 44-yard line. Eric Payne in on the hit. He was also submarined again by Zykowski. So Jim Uzinski said in our pregame show that Eddie Miller was a back that he was going to try to get a lot of work tonight, and it's evident here on this series. 2 straight carries for Eddie as he now checks out of the ball game.
Tim, they need the speed that Dennis Washington gave them the last 3 years, and that's the one thing that they seem to be missing desperately is that outside burner.
4:55 remaining here in the first quarter of play. Again, the Admirals scoring on their first possession. They lead 6-0. Raymont Harris with a 4-yard touchdown run. And here we go. Triple wide out to the left, triple wides to the right, and Reardon deep back at his own 34-yard line. There's the snap, throws the screen out, complete to McGinney, to the midfield stripe, to the 45, spins inside the 45, down to the 40.
I like it.
It's a triple wide left and right. And basically what happens is that Admiral King is forced to go man-to-man on those people.
Exactly, and of course if you have a situation where you have a linebacker covering a running back, you definitely have a speed advantage. So if you can get a screen, you know, it can go for big yards, as was evidenced on that play.
And here we go again. Reardon standing back at his own 48-yard line. Good snap. Reardon under a heavy rush. Looks, throws, complete to Miller, to the 35, down to the 31-yard line.
You know what Admiral King's going to have to do, Tim? John Reardon's lined up as if he's punting 12 to 15 yards deep, and if there's only 2 guys to block 7, if they rush all 7 guys, they're never going to get to sack the quarterback before he throws. Somebody's got to be wide open.
That's true. Now you may be wondering, for those of you listening, how is it a legal formation? Well, the 3 on the left are up on the line of scrimmage, so technically they have 7 on the line of scrimmage. 2nd down and 1. Backs are split. Reardon keeps it to pick up the 1st down, and he does. Inside the 30, down to the 29-yard line. So it's a 1st down and 10 for Lorain. As Jim Uzinski, with nothing to lose, he's 1-4 on the season. The biggest ball game of the year for his squad when they take on Admiral King, although the people from Elyria might argue with that. But
well, I'll tell you what, it does.
Pulling out all the stops.
Sure, and if they beat Admiral King, even if they have a losing record at the end of the season, they feel like they've had success.
And here it is. Triples to the left and right. Reardon throws it out, complete to Millard. Inside the 25, breaks the tackle, hit, drop at the 23-yard line. Flag down on the play.
Tim, they're going to be called for illegal motion because nobody got set before the ball was snapped.
So they'll bring this one back, but overall, Coach Uzinski has to be very pleased with the effectiveness of this new offense. He told me about it during the pregame interview after we had stopped the tape. He didn't want to mention anything during the interview itself, but he told me they've been working on it, and he thought it would be successful. And so far tonight, it has been, except for this penalty right here on this play. But aside from that, it's worked well.
It really has, and it's an exciting formation for the fans as well as for us to broadcast. It very much reminds you of when you were playing Killaham as a kid, and you know you had 11 or 12, sometimes 15 on the side. Well, you know, if you say you go over by the bottle cap and you go over by the fig tree on the left, and just get open and I'll throw it. You know.
I don't know where you played where there was fig trees around, but.
Has to use one's imagination. I grew up in South Oberlin.
Oh, okay. McGinty splits to the left, Miller to the right, single back behind Reardon. Reardon now sends Nazario in motion. Reardon back to pass, pumps, under a heavy rush, escapes the rush at his own 45, to the 40, looks, throws in the middle, complete to Miller to the 25, breaks the tackle down to the 21-yard line.
He was in all kinds of trouble, but again had the elusive speed to avoid the rush, got the ball up and turned it into a major completion.
So the ball is at the 21. It'll set up third and about 3 with 2:40 left here in the first quarter of play.
Tim, are you a little surprised that Coach Osisco has not taken a timeout to try to regroup his defense?
Yes, I am. We'll see what happens on this play. Big play right now for Lorain High. I'm sure they want to keep this drive alive.
I think you called it right, partner, when you said they must play man-to-man defense, and so far the Admirals have elected to stay in their regular defensive front, and it's causing them all kinds of problems.
If Nazario was in his, if Reardon was in the standard shotgun, it'd be fine to rush them the way they are. But as you mentioned, Sid, he's back deep, almost in a punting formation, and maybe even a couple yards deeper than that. So by the time the rush comes in, he's gotten the pass off.
Well, what the Admirals are allowing Lorain to do on every play out of that double spread formation is to set up an automatic, very convenient screen pass situation. What they're going to have to probably do, and I expect Coach Osisco to get it together real soon, is have 2 designated rushers and everybody else pick up a man by the number and just play him until the play comes off.
Roughing the passer call against Admiral King after Reardon completed the pass gives the Steelmen a 1st down and 10 at the Admiral King 18-yard line. So now they're knocking on the door. Backs are split. Fake handoff to Miller. Reardon rolling to the left under the rush. Looks, throws, tipped, incomplete. Down inside the 15-yard line. And we've got another flag on the play. It may be a clip in the interior line, but we've got a hold. So it'll be holding against Lorain High. That'll push him back 10 yards. As Reardon again demonstrating fine ability to move in the backfield.
Yeah, and much better ability to throw the ball to his weak side going left. Talked to Coach Smith before the game, as I told you, Tim, and we both agreed that Sean Reardon was the key to the success for the Lorain Steelmen tonight. He had to come out and have a stellar ball game, and so far in the first quarter, he's been doing very, very well.
Again, a reminder to those listening on the radio that tonight we will once again give away a pair of Cleveland Browns tickets to see the Cincinnati Bengals down at the stadium a little bit later on in the season. So stay tuned for that. Our ticket giveaway tonight will be brought to you courtesy of Malad Chevy Olds on Route 58 in Amherst. Again, triple wides to the left and right. Reardon back to pass, looks, throws, completes to Miller. Miller hit at the 25, down to the 24-yard line. But again, Admiral King rushing so many people that someone's bound to be open.
No doubt about that. Again, I think it's time, 2-12 and counting. The Admirals are figuring, okay, we got the lead, so we'll sit on the lead and not use one of our timeouts. But if they're able to get on the scoreboard, Lorain High is able to get on the scoreboard.
So it's 2nd down and 15 for Lorain High as they are at the 25-yard line of Admiral King. Single back behind Reardon. Going in motion is Nazario. Reardon back to pass, has time, looks, throws, ball's tipped, incomplete. At the 20-yard line, Zykowski got his hand on it at the line of scrimmage.
That was one of those tweeners, Tim. Sean Reardon throws it any harder. The defense gets a chance to do the tip drill and intercept. I don't think he thought that ball was going to get batted down, but he really didn't have enough zip on it or arc to get it into his receiver.
Big 3rd and 15 here. for Lorain High as they are at the Admiral King 24-yard line with 1:39 left here in the first quarter of play. Miller splits to the right, McGinty to the left. Zante is in the wing to the left. Single back behind Reardon. Zante now goes in motion to the left. And flare pass goes out to Zante, and it's incomplete at the 25-yard line. Zante, when he went in motion, actually went a little bit backwards and then cut up looking for the swing pass, and him and Reardon couldn't quite connect.
Well, it's a good thing that Zante went over to cover that ball, because it could have very easily been called a lateral, Tim, in which case it's a live football, and Admirals can pick it up and go like blue blazes. So, you know, it's not a problem at all.
So it's now 4th and 15. And the Steelmen have to go for it right now. McGinty splits to the left, Miller to the right, ball at the right hash mark. Nazario goes in motion to the right, out of the wing left. Reardon back to pass, under a rush, Payne's got him, and he's trying to break the tackle, and he can't. Dropped at the 25-yard line. Eric Payne came in, made the sack, and the ball goes over on downs to the Admirals.
Tim, in that situation, you've got to throw the ball into the end zone and give yourself a chance to get a touchdown. I think that time Sean Reardon elected to try to get what he could, but wouldn't hurt him any more to throw the ball into the end zone to try to get the score. Even if it's intercepted, it's only a touchback. The ball only comes out to the 20.
So the Admirals take over, 1st down and 10. They're at their own 25-yard line, and they lead 6-0. Backs are in the eye behind Dan Congilio. Handoff goes to Harris over right guard, and he picks up 2, maybe 3, before being dropped at the 28-yard line.
Tim, how frustrating, and how much does it do to the confidence of the Steelmen to get that close, 2 consecutive possessions and come away with nothing?
Sure, it's frustrating, but I'm surprised Jim Uzinski didn't go back to that triple wide on the 3rd and 4th and long. He stayed in his standard offensive set.
Yeah, really, and what it does is it goes from 7 receivers to 2.
Harris picked up 2. It'll be 2nd down and 8. Again, handoff goes to Raymont over right tackle. Finds a hole out to the 35. He'll be about a half-yard shy of the first. And that may be the last play of the first quarter. The clock winds down to 33 seconds. So a 3rd, and we'll call it 1 as the ball is at the 35-yard line. Well, they got the first.
Yeah, they got a good spot that time, Tim. They
definitely got a good spot.
Football with the right foot spot instead of the left foot spot.
I formation, wing to the right, double tight end. Handoff goes to Wicker. Wicker with the hole over right guard, out over the 40 to the 43-yard line. Jerome Wicker picks up 8. It'll be 2nd down and 2.
You know, Tim, Jerome Wicker is a man that's been underrated all season long. He's done the job consistently, even when Raymont was out injured.
And that definitely ends the first quarter of play. We've completed 1 here at George Daniel Field. The Admirals from Admiral King lead 6-0 on a 4-yard touchdown run by Raymont Harris. And we'll be back right after this. The Admirals leading 6-0, and they have the ball. 2nd down and 2 at their own 43-yard line. And again, nothing fancy from Tom El Cisco. Double tight end, wing to the left. Pitch back goes to Harris, looking for room over left tackle. Breaks the tackle, and now he's outside. He's to the 45, the 40, 35, 30. Cuts back against the grain. Inside the 25 to the 22-yard line.
What a brilliant run, Tim.
Outstanding run by Raymont Harris, the big 6'1", 205-pound senior. And he demonstrated everything you want in a college back right there. Speed, cutback ability, reading the blocks. That was the total package right on that run.
Not to mention the fact he's 6'1" and 195. If the young man can stay healthy, I think you're going to see a player at the Division I level who has got an outstanding future.
Raymont brought it all the way down to the 22-yard line of Lorain High School. It's 1st down and 10 for the Admirals. Just an outstanding player.
Looked like a young Jim Brown on that, didn't he?
Mike Hutz checks into the game for the Admirals. And there's a Lorain High.
Running, Tim, is not something that you teach. It's just something that you know.
Very true. A Lorain High Steelman. Slow getting back down to the other end of the field, and now he joins his teammates in the huddle. John Bareback, linebacker.
Tim, it's got to be a little demoralizing for Coach Uzinski and his staff, as well as the players, to have worked as hard as they worked that first quarter and have nothing to show for it on the scoreboard.
So referees decide we need a timeout, and Lorain High decides they need one too. So we'll take a break as the Steelmen take their first timeout. 11:49 left here in the first half of play. 6-0 Admiral King, and they're driving. We'll be back right after this. Raymont Harris with another big pickup for Admiral King. Gets inside the 10-yard line. There's a flag down on the opposite side of the field, though, so it may be nullified. Let's see what the official call. Raymont's run will be nullified as they march off the penalty against the Admirals. Let's pause for station identification. Third penalty of the night goes against the Admirals from Admiral King. Their third for 25 yards, and it pushes them back to the 31-yard line. Congilio again brings the troops out, and this is about as fancy as Tom Cisco is going to get. Power I formation to the right. Harris deep in the eye, gets the handoff, looking for room over left tackle, gets inside to the 20, to the 15, and he is gone. 10-5 touchdown, Raymont Harris. Took a shot in the end zone, and they throw the flag. Raymont was clearly in for the touchdown, and defensive back out of frustration gave him a nice pop. But Raymont goes over from 31 yards out, and the Admirals stretch their lead to 12-0 with 11:22 left in the second quarter of play.
Tim, just like the coaches draw it up on the chalkboard, out of the power I formation, 6'1", 195, Raymont Harris, just using his athletic ability, saw a hole to the left. It was cut off. He decided to cut back against the grain, and all of a sudden it's Pay Dirt City.
And now with a 12-0 lead, let's see what Tom Cisco decides to do on the extra point conversion. See if he goes for two, try to get it back up to 14. And here we go. Congilio under center, so we have a 2-point conversion attempt. Harris now goes in motion to the right. Wicker, the lone setback behind Congilio. Congilio back to pass. Looks, throws, tipped, incomplete. So the 2-point conversion is no good. And the Admirals' lead is 12-0. 11:22 left in the first half of play. Lorain High needs a score. We'll be back right after this. Mark off the penalty against Lorain High on the ensuing kickoff. And so the Admirals will kick off from the Steelman 45-yard line as they called a personal foul against the Lorain High player in the end zone for hitting Raymont Harris after the touchdown.
That was purely a frustration move, but not a very wise one.
And Larry Gage will kick it off, the big 6'4", 300-pound monster for Admiral King, and he gets a good kick away. Ball taken at the 5, out to the 10, 15, 20. Nazario looking for room and dropped at the 21-yard line. So Lorain High, as expected, when Admiral King's kicking off from the 45, doesn't have the greatest of field position to start this drive. They trail 12-0 with 11:15 remaining in the first half of play. And let's see if Jim Yosinski goes back to that triple wideout.
Got nothing to lose. You're down by 12. You're 1-4. You know, you got to roll the dice. He's going to try to go with a little more conservative attack here, but how long?
Miller splits to the right, McGinty to the left. Coming in motion is Nazario. Reardon back to pass, looks, throws, completes it out in the flat. McGinty tries to spin outside, and he gets out to the 29-yard line. So a pickup of 8 for Lorain High. It'll be 2nd down and 2. Marlon Davis in on the coverage for Admiral King. Sid?
Sean Reardon having one of his better games that we've seen in the last couple of years. He has a lot more confidence, seems to be throwing the ball, a lot more poise and consistency and on the money.
2nd down and 2 for Lorain High. As Miller splits to the right, ball is at the left hash mark. And again, Lorain High goes left to right on your radio dial here in the second quarter of play. Reardon hands off. Big hole up the middle for Chaffee, and he gets out to the 35-yard line. Chaffee picks up 7, and that's a 1st down for Lorain.
You do a great job of making the defense stay at home, Tim, when you open with a 1st down pass rather than a 1st down run. Either way, if you get 6 or 7 yards, now the defense has got to guess.
So it's a 1st down and 10 for Lorain as Chris Chaffee picks up the 1st down and keeps the drive alive. Splitting to the right is McGinty. Miller goes to the left. In the wing to the right is Zante. Single back is Chaffee. Zante goes in motion to the left. Reardon rolling to the right. Has time. Now comes the rush, and he throws it out of bounds. Now that's a smart play by Sean Reardon. He threw the ball into the bench. He did not have the receiver open, and instead of taking the sack or trying to force a pass somewhere, he threw it out of bounds and said, let's try it again on second down.
Well, it was a smart move, Tim. Otherwise, you take the sack now, you're 2nd and 20 instead of 2nd and 10. And, you know, he's showing some maturity right there by doing that. Last year, he would have tried to force that ball in there and get another interception. That's right.
McGinty now splits to the left, Miller to the right. Again, single back behind Reardon. This time it's Ed Miller. Nazario comes in motion out of the wing left. Handoff goes to Miller, and Miller gets out to the 38-yard line. Got 2 on the play. It'll set up 3rd down and 8 from the 38.
All right, I think they should go back to the spread right now. Of course, they'll probably come out in a set formation, but...
Nazario checks into the game. Zante comes out. Nazario brings the play in for Sean Reardon. He splits Miller to the right, McGinty to the left, and Nazario is in the wing to the left. Nazario now comes in motion to the right. Reardon back to pass. In the pocket. Looks, hanging it deep over the middle. McGinty's open, caught at the 35 and down at the 31-yard line. Put it right on the numbers to Chris McGinty.
Tim, what Steelman did differently that time, he didn't go to a straight sprint out left or right. He actually went back deeper in the pocket. Caught the receiver coming over the middle. They ran a couple of receivers off, and it was a great throw.
Big pickup for Lorain High. Pickup of 31 yards. And now the ball is at the 30-yard line of Admiral King. 1st down and 10 for Lorain. They try to put together a drive. They're down 12-0 with 9 minutes left here in the first half. Counter play goes to Zante. And Zante gets inside the 25-yard line down to the 23.
Good inside counter, Tim. Once again, the Steelmen have had no trouble getting from the 20 to the 20. It's when they get inside the 25-yard line that they can't get their offense to continue to get the score.
Zante picks up 7. It'll be 2nd down and 3 from the 23. Miller splits to the left. McGinty to the right. Chaffee is in the wing to the right. Eddie Miller behind Reardon. Chaffee now goes in motion. Handoff goes to Miller, and he's hit and stopped. About 1.5 yards shy of the 1st down. He was hit in the backfield. He's lucky he picked up 1 yard or 2.
Yeah, they almost were in so quick on Eddie Miller that he didn't get the exchange from Sean Reardon.
Steve Hicks, the nose tackle for Admiral King, in on the stop. Let's set the Admiral defense. Steve Hicks is their nose guard. Tackles are Dave Zykowski and Brian DeMarco. Defensive ends, Eric Payne and Jeff Bazoki. The linebackers, Henry Riggins and Greg Lusain. And the defensive backs, Tony Smith, Mike Akesy, Jim Saunders, and Marlon Davis. 3rd down and 2. Backs are split behind Reardon. Reardon keeps it himself on the option play, looking for a hole down to the 21. He'll be about 1/2 yard shy of the 1st down.
You know, Sean Reardon's a lot quicker than we've given him credit for being. He's got excellent quick feet, and he seems to have a head for knowing where he should get to in terms of moving forward instead of laterally.
So a big play here for Jim Uzinski, and Sean Reardon wants to discuss it with his head coach. 8:01 left here in the 2nd quarter of play. Lorain High with a big 4th and 1 at the Admiral King 21, and we'll be back right after this. So a big 4th down and 1 situation for Lorain High as they are at the Admiral King 21-yard line. McGinty to the right. Backs are split behind Reardon. Handoff. And a 1st down picked up by Nazario as they simply move the pile, and Nazario gets down to the 18-yard line. They went right over left guard Josh Hall and left tackle Brandon Minnick.
Tim, I don't know if it appears that way to you, but to me it looks like the Admirals' defense is much larger physically than the Steelman offensive line and back. Maybe it's the fact that the black uniform makes you look smaller and the white uniform larger. But when you got Larry Gage at 305 and two 240s and 250s around you, you got to out-quick them if you're going to score if you're at Lorain High.
McGinty splits to the left. Miller in the wing to the right. Backs are split behind quarterback Sean Reardon. First down and 10. Reardon in the pocket, looking for the corner of the end zone, and it is tipped and knocked out of bounds, incomplete. Looking for McGinney. He ran a flag pattern, and he just overthrew him a hair, but good coverage by Admiral King.
And an excellent throw. Sean threw it in the only safe spot, which was to the outside, so that if anybody got it, it was going to be his player.
Tony Smith on the coverage for the Admirals. So it'll be second down and 10, ball at the 18-yard line for Lorain High. They're down 12-0 with 7:26 left here in the second quarter of play. And again, Sean Reardon splits McGinty to the left, Miller to the right. Ball is at the right hash mark. Single back is Ed Miller. Coming in motion is Nazario. Reardon back to pass, looks, throws, tip, incomplete. He was looking for Miller. And Miller quite hadn't turned around yet. I think Sean should have held up about another half second or so on that pass.
I agree, and he probably put a little too much zing on that pass as well.
So now it's a third down and 10. So Jim Uzinski, faced with 3rd and 10 at the Admiral King 18-yard line, he sends Chris Chaffee in with the play for quarterback Sean Reardon.
They need a score here very badly, so at least they ought to try to get within field goal range if they can get a kicker to kick one over 30 yards.
Miller to the right, McGinty to the left, Chaffee in motion to the right. Reardon rolling to the left, looks, throws, tipped, and knocked down. Eric Payne, the defensive end, got the big hand up and knocked it down. And those defensive linemen are taught to do that. Get those hands up, and that's exactly what Eric Payne did.
Well, if you got a quarterback that's 5'10" or 11 and your defensive front's about 6'3", 6'4", 6'6", you got to throw the ball up each time you throw it. And again, that's a situation where Sean Reardon has to take a deeper drop.
Andrew Tiemann will attempt a 35-yard field goal for Lorain High. Good snap, kick is up, and it is good. He put it through, and Lorain High gets 3 points. Tiemann with a 35-yard field goal, and it's 12-3. Admiral King 7-12 left here in the first half of play, and we'll be back right after this. Andrew Tiemann with a 35-yard field goal for the Lorain High Steelmen puts them on the board. 7-12 left here in the second quarter of play, and the Admirals' lead is cut to 9, 12-3. Has to be a big confidence boost for the Steelmen to get some points.
Yeah, it really does, because they have not been stopped all night long by the Admirals. They've been stopped by their own mistakes, an interception on one and fourth down incompletion on the other. But they're right back in this contest.
They definitely are. Tiemann will kick it off as the ball's teed up at his own 40-yard line. Payne back deep for Admiral King. Tiemann gets a good foot into it. Payne takes it at the 15, out to the 20, to the 25, looking to break inside, to the 35, dropped at the 38-yard line. But again, the Admirals have outstanding field position, 1st and 10. They're at their own 38-yard line with 7:05 left here in the first half of play. They lead 12-3. Again, don't forget, coming up sometime during the ball game tonight, we're going to give away a pair of Cleveland Browns tickets, as we do during every high school football game. And our Browns ticket giveaway tonight will be brought to you by Malad Chevy Olds on Route 58 in Amherst. And the tickets are for the Cincinnati Bengal game down at the stadium. Also, don't forget, coming up after tonight's ball game, I'll race back to the station and bring you the WOBL High School Football Scoreboard Show as Al Hirschman takes a Friday night off. And the referee and other officials discussing things at the 38-yard line. I didn't see any flags fly.
Tim, could it be that in your race back to the radio station tonight that you come to the realization that the Buffalo Bills haven't ever had 4 consecutive sellouts, have they?
Oh, Sid. There was a flag down at the 41-yard line. Yes, they have.
That's good. Try to get out of it. Come on.
There was a flag at the 41. For our TV viewers,
yes,
it's been widely speculated that I'm a Buffalo Bills fan. So Sid has to let me know that once in a while, that he hasn't forgotten it.
Only because I love you.
Yeah.
And I know you don't like pain.
You love me like a good rash.
Yeah. without any Desinex.
They'll make Lorain High. They'll make Lorain High kick it from the 45-yard line of Admiral King as they march off a big one against the Admirals. So there was a personal foul earlier in the ball game against Lorain High, and we saw Admiral King kick from the 45, and now we'll see Andrew Tiemann tee it up at the Admiral King 45-yard line. I'm not exactly sure what the call was. Was it a personal foul?
It had to have been either a personal foul or clipping.
Blocking below the waist.
Now, Gary and Tim, do you kick onside in this situation?
Well, Jim Uzinski's going to have some time to think about that because the Admirals have now taken a timeout. 7:06 left here in the first half of play. 12-3 Admiral King as we try to get this kickoff away. We'll be back right after this. So Tiemann tees it up at the Admiral King 45-yard line after the blocking below the waist call. And he lines it up the middle. It's hit by one of the up men. Picked up at the 10, stumbles, and his knee touched. Well, the officials say his knee touched, and we're not sure if it did, but the Admirals will now be deep in their own territory, 1st and 10 at their own 11.
Well, that's as good as an onside kick. He did get the benefit of a referee's quick whistle. His hand touched him, but I don't think his knee did go down.
It was very close, but either way, the Admirals now have a long way to go.
How many years do you think now with TV and cable TV that it's going to be before we use replay at the high school level?
I don't know how many local TV outlets have that capability. Pitch back goes to Harris. Harris over left tackle. Out to the 15 to the 16-yard line. Pickup of 5. When you're talking the major networks and the major affiliates, they have instant replay capability, but whether we'll see that come down into the local cable level and those that would televise high school football games, I don't know.
I think technology-wise, in about 5 to 10 years, the technology and the cost will be low enough that it can be afforded. Right now, you're right, it's way out of line.
Ball marked at the 16-yard line. Handoff goes to Harris as flags fly. He gets a hole. He's to the 25, to the 30, 35, 40, 45, to the midfield stripe, down to the 46-yard line of Lorain High. But that one is going to be called back. Raymont Harris again with an outstanding run, demonstrating all the abilities of a major big-time back, and I think it's going to be called back.
Well, Tim, it's just a tremendous joy. Penalty's going to go against the Steelmen for too many players. They had 12 men on the field that time, and it's going to stand. And they still couldn't stop it.
Yeah, they had an extra man out there in the field, and Raymont still managed to bust off a big run.
Gary, he's got to be close to, if not over, 100 yards rushing already in the first half.
With that run, he now has 104 yards, 9 carries.
So they run the play down deep into Lorain High territory, and now they add on the penalty.
Wow.
So it's all the way down to the Lorain High 30-yard line. 5:58 remaining here in the first half of play, and it's a 1st down and 10 for the Admirals at the Lorain High 31-yard line. And the Admirals looking to add to a 12-3 lead. Splitting wide to the right is Mike Hutz. Harris now goes in motion to the right. Single back is Wicker behind Congilio. Congilio rolling to the right. Fires over the middle. Tipped. Incomplete. At the 15-yard line.
Offensive interference, if anything.
4 players converged on the ball after it was tipped, and a flag flew. So we'll see what the call is. It's been a penalty-filled first half.
It really has. The first quarter moved along fairly rapidly, but and as I said, Tim, offensive interference.
It hit Mike Hutz right in the back.
It did. It hit him right in the back.
All you had to do was turn around and make a football.
But they pushed the Admirals back to the 46-yard line. 15-yard penalty. And it's a loss of down as well, so it's 2nd down. And the ball is at the 46-yard line. So if Lorain can stiffen up here, they will have dodged a major bullet.
Yeah, Jamie Godwin had that ball in his hands. It was actually taken out. It would have been an interception for the Steelman.
Congilio hands off to Wicker, the big fullback, and he gets down to the 41-yard line. Pickup of 5. It's now 3rd down and about 20. It's an interesting call by Tom Il-Cisco because he lost the down on that offensive interference call.
Not only that, I don't like the fact that you take Raymont out of a play 2 plays in a row by having him run that wide in motion and not even look his way.
Hutz splits to the right. Bazoki, the tight end, is also to the right. Bob Brown split to the left. Harris again goes in motion to the right. Congilio throws it out to Harris. He's at the 48 to the 45, inside the 40 down to the 38-yard line. So they ran him in motion. They ran the same play that Lorain High ran earlier in the ball game. And Raymont had a little more success with it, but far, far short of the first down. It sets up 4th down and long for the Admirals at the Lorain High 38-yard line.
Tim, the problem on that particular play is Danny Congilio threw the ball behind Raymont. Had he led him, he probably could have gotten more yardage.
Akasi will punt for Admiral King, standing right at the midfield stripe. Nazario and Zante back deep. Akasi gets it away, line drive kick, bounces inside the 5 into the end zone, and Nazario picks it up. He didn't have to. He downed it in the end zone. Why he picked that ball up, I have no idea, because once it's in the end zone, it's a touchback.
Well, better safe than sorry, and he wasn't sure if it was going to go across the line. You know, it's easy to see from up here because we got a perfect angle.
On a punt, you get away from it.
Sid, that ball was 4 yards deep in the end zone.
It's not live football. The other team cannot get the ball.
I take it back. I take it back.
So, well, Lorain High has it 1st down and 10 at their own 20, and here we go. That triple wide formation, triple to the left, triple to the right, 4 men on the line of scrimmage. Long snap to Reardon, looks, throws, complete to Miller. He's hit, dropped it, and let's see if they call the interception. It was bobbled in the air, and they do. Miller was hit and dropped it, and coming up to make the diving interception was the Admiral King defender. Outstanding play.
I'll tell you what, there again, heads-up defense on the part of the Admirals that time. Defensive back, number 6, Eric Payne, dove to make the interception, but it was the defensive hit that caused that play.
Was that an interception or was it a fumble?
Well, that was an interception.
It was an interception.
I thought the man caught the ball, turned upfield, then was hit and lost the ball.
All right, I see what your point is, that it was a hit, a reception, and then a fumble rather than an interception. Either way, the Admirals got it.
Outstanding play, and it's a 1st down and 10 for Admiral King.
I just want to know where to put it in the stat book. That's what I'm looking for.
At
put
the
it on the AK side.
At the Lorain High 23-yard line. Harris deep in the eye, handoff goes to Raymont. Raymont down to the 19. Pickup of 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7. Less than 4 minutes left here in the first half of play. Admiral King looking to add to a 12-3 lead as they get their 2nd turnover of the night. And they'll look to punch it in as they're deep in Lorain High territory at the 19-yard line. Going wide to the right is Marlon Davis. Brown splits to the left, the short side of the field. Again, I formation. Congilio under center. Back to pass. Plenty of time. Looks, throws. He's got Davis, and it is intercepted in the end zone. Outstanding play. Jamie Godman picked it off. Dan Congilio hung it up there about a second too long and had a little bit too much arc on it, and Jamie Godman was able to come over from his center field position and pick it off.
Jimmy did a super job. He almost had the interception before and had offensive interference called. The Steelman dodged a major bullet, and I would think the coach would now sit on the ball and try to go in at halftime only trailing by 9 points. Except, as you said, they're 1-4. Why not go for it?
3:19 left here in the first half, so it's still anybody's ball game. Miller to the right. Single back is Ed Miller behind Reardon. Reardon back to pass. Pump fake. Looks. He's hanging it up deep, and he's thrown into double coverage, and it's tipped and incomplete. And McGinty almost had the opportunity to catch it after the tip, and he couldn't quite hold on.
I tell you what, and his receiver on this side of the field Pat Nazario was not covered at all. If he had been able to see, boy, there was 6 points, and it almost turned out to be 6 anyway.
So Jim Uzinski decides to go for it all. But Sean Reardon with a dangerous pass, he threw that into double coverage again. We mentioned earlier in the ball game how he made a very smart play by throwing one into the bench. That play, Sean, when he sees the films, will know he shouldn't have thrown it into that coverage. Reardon back to pass again. Here comes the rush. He's hit as he's thrown, and it is tipped and incomplete. Miller went up between Marlon Davis and the other defensive back for Admiral King, and he couldn't quite bring it in.
Marlon Davis actually tackled Miller's arms to keep him from holding that football, Gary.
Now you're looking at a situation where Admiral King has an opportunity to get the football back and score, because Lorain High has thrown it twice, 2 incompletions. They've run practically no time off the clock.
They've only used 12 seconds. They got the ball with 3:19, and the clock now reads 3:07. Left here in the second quarter of play, and it's a 3rd and 10.
Not only that, Tim and Gary, they're going against the wind, which makes the problem for Sean Reardon even more difficult.
McGinty to the left, Miller to the right, and flags fly.
Delay a game.
Too much time taken by Sean Reardon in the huddle. It's been a penalty-filled first half here. So they'll push Lorain High back 5 yards. It sets up a 3rd and 15 as Nazario comes in with a new play. Zante comes out of the ball game.
Not getting first down on this now. They're going to need a long punt to get them out of this hole.
Yeah, they really are. And the problem is, again, they're going against about a 20-mile-an-hour wind and not ideal for punting.
Miller to the right, McGinty to the left. Nazario out of the wing left, goes in motion to the left. Reardon throws it out to him, incomplete, and they only chewed another 5 seconds off the clock. So with 3:04 remaining here in the second quarter of play, the Admirals suddenly have plenty of time. As a 4th and 15, Lorain High will be forced to punt.
Tim, I agree with Gary. In that situation, that deep in your own territory, you start the clock and you run the ball and try to kill some of that time.
Tiemann will kick for Lorain High, standing at his own goal line. Good snap. Admiral King playing for the return. Tiemann gets the kick away. Fair catch called at the 45-yard line. Outstanding field position for Admiral King as the clock ticks under 3 minutes left here in the first half of play. But Tony Smith, with the smart play, fair catching that ball, not risking the turnover and not chewing more time off that clock, he'll give it to his offense, and they have plenty of time.
Well, it was a smart call because it wasn't so much the time as it was the turnover that you didn't want to have. Almost 3 minutes, they ought to be able to get in scoring range.
And again, the Admirals go right to left on your radio dial, wind at their back. Handoff goes to Raymont Harris, and Ray picks up 3 inside the 45 to the 42-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 7.
All right, and different from Coach Uzinski, Coach Osisco decides a running play first to get the clock moving. Now he'll look for the Admirals to come back with the pass. If they're successful, then maybe they'll think about a sideline situation to stop the clock. They also have a timeout or 2 left.
Bazoki, the tight end, lines up to the left. In the wing to the left is Marlon Davis. Backs in the eye. Pitch back goes to Harris. Looking for room left side to the 40. Breaks outside to the 35. Bowls a man over and gets down to the 31-yard line. Jamie Godman came up to meet him, and it wasn't a pleasant exchange as Raymont Harris just bowled him right over. And it's a 1st down and 10 for the Admirals at the Lorain High 31-yard line. 2:15 remaining in the first half.
Tim, what does number 34 remind you of, and maybe why Raymont's wearing that number? Running back, just retired, 2nd leading rusher in the history of the game.
Yeah, interesting. Congilio hands off to Wicker. Wicker inside the 30 to the 28-yard line.
Talking about Walter Payton wore number 34, and Walter Payton was the person who delivered the blow. Walter Payton wore number 34, not number 32.
2nd leading rusher?
Yes.
He passed Jim Brown a long time ago, Sid.
Well, but Tony Dorsett is going to pass him shortly.
No.
You knew who I was talking about.
Congilio has backs in the eye behind him. Looks, throws it over the middle, overthrown as he was looking for Marlon Davis, and Godman almost had himself a second interception.
Must you Kent Staters always be controversial?
Well, I know who the #1 leading rusher in the history of the NFL is.
Okay. You're right. My point was, Walter Payton, who wore number 34, believed in delivering a blow
Oh, true.
rather than taking the blow, even though you're the running back. And we saw that last week against Sandusky as well as tonight, where Raymont was killing people and he was the ball carrier.
Very true. Good point. Backs are in the eye, wing left, double tight end on a 3rd and 7. Handoff goes to Harris, over right tackle to the 25, down inside the 25 to the 22-yard line. So it'll be 4th and a long 1, short 2. Well, actually, they gave him another good mark. It'll be a 4th and about 1 at the 22-yard line. Clock continues to run. It's down to 1 minute left here in the first half of play. The Admirals looking to add to a 12-3 lead. Power I formation to the left. Harris deep in the eye. Handoff goes to Raymont over left guard, inside the 20, picks up the first down to the 17-yard line. We'll see if Tom Ilcisco decides to take a timeout. He does. Dan Congilio, the quarterback, motions he wants timeout. We'll take a break. 45 seconds left here in the first half, and the Admirals knocking on the door. They are at the 17-yard line of Lorain High, 1st and 10. And we'll be back right after this. Sid Scott recovering from his mental error a few minutes ago.
Yes, it was a severe blunder. Happens with age.
Except he had me worried. I thought somebody had passed Walter Payton and I didn't know about it.
I was just checking your program to see if you and Gary were being sharp or not.
Yeah.
Every now and then they have Tuesday night football as well as Monday night football. Walter Payton was coming out of retirement. He did say if Mike Ditka asked him, he'd come back and play this year.
He was on the sideline Sunday.
Yes, he was. 1st down and 10. Admiral King at the 16-yard line of Lorain High School. Congilio back to pass, fires over the middle, that's picked off. Godman with the interception to the 15, out to the 20, to the 25. Jamie Godman with his 2nd interception, and deep in his own territory, he has saved 2 touchdowns for Lorain High School.
He really has. He's done an excellent job, and if the young man's not a center fielder on the baseball team, and I was the baseball coach at Lorain High, I'd certainly recruit him because he plays that center field safety position extremely well.
And he returned it all the way to the 26-yard line. Now, I think you'll see Jim Yazinski run this clock out. He's dodged 2 major bullets, and I think he'll go to the locker room down by 9 and try to regroup.
I agree.
Reardon, under center Dan Ward. Handoff goes up the middle and out to the 28-yard line is Ed Miller. Miller picks up 2 or 3. It'll be 2nd down. And that may be the last play of the first half because Lorain does not have to run another play. The referee blew the whistle with about 21 seconds left. So if Lorain High elects to do so, they can run out the clock.
Tim, the score says Admiral King 12 and Lorain High 3, but Lorain High has won this 2nd quarter because they stopped the Admirals 3 times.
Well, Reardon elects to run the play. Back to pass, looks, throws, and it's dropped at the 41-yard line. A short little flat pass on the last play of the first half wraps things up. So Lorain High dodges 2 major bullets, comes out in some razzle-dazzle, and were able to move the ball effectively, and they finally got a field goal with 7:12 left in the 2nd quarter of play, but only after 2 Admiral King touchdowns, both by stellar tailback Raymont Harris. He went over from 4 yards out with 6:23 left in the 1st quarter of play, and then a beautiful 31-yard touchdown run with 11:22 left in the 2nd quarter of play. Both extra point attempts were missed, but the Admirals lead the ball game 12-3. We're at intermission, and we'll be back with halftime activities right after this. Teeman will kick it off for Lorain High School. Again, the Admirals lead 12-3, and Teeman will tee it up at his own 40-yard line. Lorain High will defend the goal to our right here in the third quarter of play. The Admirals will go left to right on your radio dial. And as Sid mentioned, the Admirals in their visiting white uniforms tonight with the blue and gold stripe and the ram-like helmets, and Lorain High in their home black uniforms.
Tim, the Admirals,
tough-looking uniforms.
They do look very intimidating out there in their black. The Admirals have to get some success here in the second half with their passing game. If they don't, I think you're going to find Lorain's defense won't be able to shut Raymont down, but if they can hold him up just a little bit and gang tackle him, and they keep going to that spread formation, this game may go right down to the wire.
If Lorain High can get a quick 3 and out or stop Admiral King early here in the third quarter, it would be to their benefit immensely to get the ball in good field position, as we mentioned, possibly going back to that double, triple wideout formation.
Absolutely.
Teeman tees it up and kicks it off. Line drive kick taken at the 10 to the 15, out to the 20. Looking to break outside is Payne to the 30 to the 34-yard line. Eric Payne gives the Admirals decent field position. They're at their own 34. First down and 10 as we start the third quarter of play. 11:54 left in the third stanza. Dan Congilio, the quarterback, huddles his troops again in the backfield with him. Jerome Wicker and Raymont Harris. And a plethora of split ends in Tony Smith, Eric Payne, Bob Brown, and Vic Perez. Gary liked that word, plethora.
I did too. I thought that was very major league for a young man of your stature from Kent State.
Congilio hands off to Harris. Harris to the 36-yard line, pickup of 2. It'll be second down and 8. Montel Qualls, defensive tackle, in on the stop for Lorain High. We'll set the Admiral King offensive line for you. Jay Kunick is the center. Dave Zykowski and Mike Grumbros are the two guards. Larry Gage and Brian DeMarco are the tackles. Jeff Bazoki is the tight end. Hutz and Marlon Davis are the wingbacks. Tony Smith splits to the right. Davis in the wing to the left, backs in the eye behind Congilio. Pitch back goes to Harris. Harris looking for room right side, cuts back up the middle, out over the 40 to the 42-yard line. Just outstanding instinctive running by Raymont Harris.
Now, Raymont Harris is just a very quality athlete. He's also very intelligent, and at 6'1", 195, he's a bruising kind of runner too, Tim.
Pickup of 7 for Raymont, sets up a 3rd and 1. Chaffee in on the stop for Lorain High School. Admirals with a 12-3 lead, and they'll look to take some time off the clock here in the third quarter of play. Power I formation to the left. Handoff goes to Harris, looks to break outside, and he can. He's ridden down, and now he breaks the tackle out over the 45 to the 47-yard line. Raymont Harris just refusing to go down. It appeared as though he was going to be brought down at the 44-yard line. Just kept the legs moving, the body twisting, and managed to pick up 3.
Tim, anytime you don't tackle a ball carrier's legs, they have a nose for the first down yard marker, and Raymont knew exactly how far he had to get, and until somebody grabbed him around the ankles instead of at his shoulder pads, they weren't going to get him down.
Ball at the left hash mark, and now Marlon Davis splits wide to the right. Backs are in the eye behind Congilio. Handoff goes to Harris over right guard. Hit in the backfield and manages to lunge forward over the midfield stripe down into Lorain High territory at the 48-yard line. Again, Mike Chaffee in on the stop. Mike Chaffee and Montel Qualls in the middle for Lorain High in their 6'2 defense. Dave Escobar and Brendan Minnick are the tackles. Chris McGinty and Eric Morgan, the defensive ends. The linebackers, John Baerback and Dan Ward, will set the defensive secondary after this play. Harris picked up 4. It's second down and 6. Pitch back goes to Harris, looking for room left side to the 45, just bullying his way ahead to the 41-yard line. And I believe Raymont got the 6 for the first down.
Tim, one of the things that I've noticed about Raymont, every time the Admirals have second and long, he manages to get 5 or 6 yards, so they put themselves in a situation where they don't have to be passing the ball on third down. They end up 3rd and short.
An official timeout as they'll stretch the chains to see if Raymont picked up the first down. I thought he did. Let's see what the chains say. Well, he missed it.
Well,
by
that time
about half the length of the football.
didn't get the good spot.
Didn't get that spot off my glasses either. So it's 3rd down and 1. Admiral King at the Lorain High 41-yard line. And this drive very reminiscent of their opening drive last week against Sandusky. That 17-play, 70-yard drive when they never once went out of bounds. They never once threw the ball. And they chewed up over 8.5 minutes.
Well, the key for Lorain High is to stop them and keep them off the scoreboard and force them into a passing situation.
3rd and 1. Double tight end. And again, power I. Congilio hands off to Harris, over left tackle, inside the 40 to the 39. More than enough for the first down. When you need a yard, you go over big Larry Gage at 6'4", 300, and Dave Zykowski, 6'3", 235. More times than not, you'll pick up the yard for the first down.
Yeah, if they just lean forward, you got a half a yard right there.
Now, when Gary Pelter was playing offensive tackle for Admiral King, it was another story. Isn't that right, Gary?
Yeah, I'd love to hear that one.
Oh, Gary was a guard.
Makes all the difference.
Backs in the eye, and Bazoki, the tight end, jumped offside, so they'll push Admiral King back 5.
Isn't it that the guards are supposed to be quick instead of big?
They've gotten a little bit better since
Illegal procedure call against the Admirals. So that'll push them back to the 44-yard line of Lorain High School. Want to mention the Lorain High defensive secondary. Said I would mention him. Jeff Zante plays 1 cornerback. Pat Nazario plays left halfback. And the defensive safety is Jamie Godman. He has 2 interceptions tonight. 1st and 15. Ball at the 44-yard line of Lorain High. Backs in the eye. Congilio with a long signal count. Hands off to Harris over left guard to the 40 to the 35. Inside the 35 to the 33-yard line. And now the holes are starting to open up. Instead of comment you made in the first half about the size of Admiral King versus the size of Lorain, and the Steelmen may be starting to get worn down right now.
Yeah, they really are. And as I said, that heavy beef on the front line of the Admirals taking its toll. They need to force Admiral King into a passing situation and get another turnover.
Raymont picked up 10, 2nd down and 5. Pitch back goes to Raymont, left tackle, breaks inside to 30 down to the 25-yard line. More than enough for the first down. And I don't want to keep harping back to last week, but we mentioned last week as well, backs that are quality backs get stronger as the game goes on. And Raymont right now just ripping off big chunks of yardage.
He really is, and it's a joy to watch a guy perform as well. He's like a master surgeon, just cutting the defense apart.
Splitting wide to the right, Vic Perez. Tight end to the right is Bazoki. Again, backs are in the eye. Wicker, the fullback, gets the handoff. Big hole up the middle, inside the 20. Still on his feet, down to the 14-yard line.
Tim,
watch Raymont Harris, and all of a sudden we'll bust the big fullback at you right up the gut.
If there's an unsung hero for the Admirals this year, it's got to be that big fullback. Every time they give him the ball, they set him up so well, he always turns it into big yardage, and he's a good player.
Bob Brown now in the game to the left. Marlon Davis splits to the right, ball to left hash mark. Again, backs in the eye, handoff to Harris. Over left tackle inside the 10. Gets down to about the 8-yard line.
Tim, the drive has already consumed almost 5 minutes, and the way the Admirals are going, this is about number 10 or 11 as far as plays in the drive, and so reminiscent of last week against Sandusky. It'll force the Lorain Steelmen to stay in that spread formation should the Admirals put up 6 more.
And the ball's at the 7, so if he can get a touchdown, he'll go over 200. Hand off to Raymont, over left tackle, inside the 5, down to the 3-yard line. And it should be enough for the first down. Should be a 1st and goal right now for Admiral King. In on the stop, Mike Chaffee. And there it is, 1st and goal. The Admirals at the Lorain High 3-yard line, definitely not what Coach Jim Uzinski needed to start the second half of play.
No, it really isn't. He didn't need to have his defense out on the field for 6 minutes, and certainly didn't need to give up any more points.
Raymont deep in the eye, wing to the right, handoff. Raymont looking for room, over left tackle, touchdown. He slid into the end zone, and Raymont Harris with his 3rd touchdown of the night gives the Admirals an 18-3 lead. 6:21 left here in the third quarter of play.
Tim, you run out of adjectives to describe how fine a football player Raymont Harris is. The only thing that might be a chink in the armor is that they don't pass him the ball enough, and once you go to the next level to be a complete back, certainly he's athletically capable.
Zykuta will attempt the extra point. Low snap, ball down, kick is up, no good. 18-3. Admiral King with a 15-point lead. 6:21 left in the third. We'll be back right after this. Zykuta's kick rolls around, and Eddie Miller picks it up at the 17-yard line, returns it out to the 25. So Lorain High, trailing by 15, is 75 yards away from pay dirt. And you'd have to think, and here it is, that Lorain High is going to go back to that spread formation.
Well, they need this, Tim, because they got the wind at their back this quarter, so they got to get everything handled in the third quarter.
Reardon under the rush, looks, throws it out, and it's complete and out of bounds at the 32-yard line.
And from the looks of things, Admiral King has not made an adjustment to this spread formation.
Marlon Davis ran Nazario out of bounds, but that's a first down for Lorain High as they are at the 33-yard line.
Tim, when your team is 1-4, you begin to draw things like doodling. Only as a coach, it's X's and O's, and you know, this is not the first time this formation has been tried, but the Lorain Steelmen are doing it very successfully tonight.
Again, triple wide both sides. Reardon under a rush. Here it comes to the 20 to the 25. He gets out of bounds at the 30. So Sean may have lost 2 on that play. And that time the Admirals appear to have it figured out a little bit better.
Well, Sean also gave it up that time because he only looked one way. He hasn't thrown to the opposite side since early in the first quarter, and I think to keep that defensive pressure on us, you got to look both ways.
Second down and 12 as Reardon was run out of bounds at the 30-yard line. And now they go back to a more basic formation. McGinty to the left, Miller to the right. Ball is at the right hash mark. Now coming in motion is Nazario. Reardon back to pass, throws it out to Nazario. Complete, wrapped up at the 39-yard line. But Nazario with good concentration held on to the ball. It's a good pickup for Lorain High, pickup of 9. Sets up a third down and about 4.
Well, it's a long 4 or short 5, whichever way you choose to look at it. The way the officials have been marking, we're not sure if it's going to be the right foot or the left. But Lorain's still very much in this game. They do need a score with the wind at their back. Close that gap.
Single back behind Reardon is Ed Miller. Zante goes in motion from the wing left to the right. Reardon rolling to the right. Looks, throws, completes to Miller to the midfield stripe. Knocked down at the 49-yard line of Admiral King. But Reardon again throwing in the double coverage. This time, though, threading the needle perfectly, put it right on the numbers.
Really did make a nice pass. Miller has been paying the price all night long because he's been catching that ball over the middle, and when you do that, you set yourself up for some serious crunch time. And credit the young man with making a nice reception.
Less than 5 minutes left here in the third quarter of play. And Lorain trying to get back in the ball game. They trail 18-3. Single back is Ed Miller. Again in the wing is Nazario to the right. He comes in motion to the left. Handoff goes to Ed Miller. Trap play to the right to the 45, looking to break outside, and he can't. Dragged down at the 44. If he had gotten beyond the monster back, he may have had the sideline.
Well, Eddie Miller was one step away from breaking that one all the way to pay dirt, Tim. And credit Sean Reardon with having the presence of mind to extend his snap cadence, because they would have been called for a procedure, but he decided to slow it down and give himself a chance to get his offensive line reset.
Nice pickup for Ed Miller. We'll give him 6 on the carry. Second down and 4. Ed Miller now has to get back in the game. He tried to run out, realized they were short. Backs are split behind Reardon. Handoff goes to Chaffee, and Chaffee on a play that was slow developing, brought down at the 42-yard line. He got 2. It'll set up 3rd and 3.
Again, Tim, a good no call on the part of Sean Reardon. He was going to signal for a timeout because he only had 10 players on the field, but you can't take those timeouts early in the contest. They came back
to haunt you.
Absolutely.
So it's a big third down play here for Lorain High. I'm sure they want to keep this drive alive. They're down by 15, 18-3, with less than 3.5 minutes left here in the third quarter of play. Reardon has back split behind him, wing to the right, McGinty split to the left. Reardon, play action pass, rolling to the left, under a rush, throws it out. It's a lame duck, and it falls incomplete at the 38-yard line. He was looking for McGinty, but Eric Payne and Greg Lusain had some serious heat on Sean Reardon. He was really feeling backside pressure.
Well, the Admirals did a smart thing. Now that the Steelmen have gone away from their double spread formation, Admiral King is sending a linebacker and/or a safety on a blitz, trying to pressure Sean Reardon, and that time he just simply didn't have enough time to get the ball where he wanted.
Fourth down at the 43-yard line. Reardon back deep. You have to watch the fake. It's a punt formation. And there it is. He's looking. He's throwing out for McGinty. It's picked off and dropped. Ball rolled out of bounds. Saunders had the interception. I'm not sure if they'll call it an interception and a fumble out of bounds or just incomplete.
I think they're going to call it incomplete, but that time you have to credit McGinty with not coming back to the football. Ball floated a little bit on him. If he comes back, he catches the ball and it's a first down. He stands there and waits for the ball, and it's almost intercepted.
And almost a long touchdown run.
Yes, it looked awfully much like Dennis Washington last Sunday afternoon.
Jim Saunders almost had the touchdown for Admiral King, but instead the Admirals take over first down and 10. They're at their own 43-yard line. The last drive chewed over 6 minutes off the clock, or nearly 6 minutes. Raymont Harris gets the handoff out over right tackle, cuts back and is brought down at the 48-yard line. We'll give him 6 on the play before John Baerback brought him down. It'll be second down and a 4.
Tim, one thing different here in the third quarter than we had in the first, it's been pretty much penalty-free. And the Admirals, as you said, have kept the ball on the ground, and it makes it much easier to cut down on those penalties, and they're just grinding the clock out with a 15-point lead. They don't need to score any more points.
2:40 and the clock moving. Wing to the left. Handoff goes to the wing man as he comes on a misdirection play, and down to the 45 to the 44-yard line is Marlon Davis, and a late flag flies. They may have gotten him by the face mask. It appeared as though his head jerked a little bit on the tackle. They got a clip.
Yeah, I think number 82 for Admiral King, the tight end, Jim Saunders, is going to be called for blocking in the back. It was questionable.
You had to mention that there wasn't any flag.
I know. I said it snake bitten. As soon as I said no flags, all of a sudden it's flag day again.
So a big penalty marched off against the Admirals. Pushes them back inside their own 40 at the 39-yard line. Making it 2nd and 14 from their own 39-yard line. Marlon Davis checks out of the game for Admiral King. Checking in is Hutz. Exactly. Power I formation, double tight end. Handoff goes to Harris over right tackle. Picks his hole out over the 45 to the 48-yard line. Raymont Harris is just outstanding. Reads the block, picks the hole, and just dances through and accelerates.
I think the thing that impresses me the most about Raymont is that he can accelerate and slow down and cut without seemingly to move or lose anything.
We've got an Admiral King alumni here in Gary Pelter. Gary, compare Raymont to the other great backs that have been here at Admiral King, the Dunlaps and so
Gary
on. Patton.
Raymont Harris is bigger and stronger. Whether he's faster or not, I'm not sure, but he's definitely bigger and stronger.
Play action pass. Congilio screen over the middle of Raymont to the 50, to the 45, 40. Breaks outside to the 35, to the 30, and ridden down at the 26-yard line.
The only missing ingredient, Tim and Gary, I said they've got to see if they can get the ball in the man's hands as a pass receiver. That's what you have to be a complete back, and he just showed us he can do it all.
And that was beautifully executed. He caught the ball in the middle of the field, got one block, and as I mentioned, he reads his block so well, broke to the left, and down the sideline he went all the way to the Lorain High 27-yard line. First down and 10 for the Admirals. Handoff goes to Wicker. Wicker, big hole down to the 21-yard line. John Bareback again in on the stop along with Montel Qualls.
Gary, Jerome Wicker's got to be inching towards at least 50 yards rushing on the night, I would think.
6 yards a pop. You can't complain about that.
Take it all day long.
2nd down and 5. Wing to the left as the clock is now under a minute left here in the 3rd quarter. Handoff Raymont Harris over right tackle. Bulls his way inside the 20, down to the 16-yard line. Just a power runner.
Well,
he has the total package.
Yeah, he really does. He's what you call a sweet runner because, you know, he can run with power, he can run with speed, he can, you know, juke and drop that leg on you. He catches the ball. I wonder if he sells popcorn and does a halftime show.
Putting on a show. Ball at the 17-yard line, left hash mark. Handoff goes to Wicker. Ducks inside left tackle to the 15 to the 14-yard line. Pickup of 3, and that might be the last play of the 3rd quarter as the clock reads 20 seconds left here in the 3rd. Admiral King with an 18-3 lead. Raymont Harris with 3 touchdowns in the ball game. 1 in the 1st, 1 in the 2nd, and 1 in the 3rd. The Admirals going into the wind. They're rushing to get this play off. Backs are in the eye. Handoff goes to Raymont over right tackle. Drags a tackler inside the 15, inside the 10. Down to the 8, and that ends the 3rd quarter of play. It's the Raymont Harris show tonight over at George Daniel Field. The Admiral King back doing it all, and the Admirals lead after 3, 18-3. We'll be back right after this. Quarter of play. And the Admirals deep in Lorain High territory at the 7-yard line, looking to add to an 18-3 lead. And as I mentioned before the break, simply the Raymont Harris show. Well over 200 yards on the night. Harris deep in the eye. He gets the handoff. Just bulls his way over left guard down to the 2. That's a 5-yard run on nothing but individual effort.
Yeah, and did you see Larry Gage just mash somebody into a small Dagwood? I mean, it's 300 pounds and 6'4". You know, I'd hate to get the young man angry because he could do some serious damage.
Sid, your verbosity never amazes me.
Ah, thank you, sir. But the Admirals got just what they wanted in the 3rd quarter. No points. They ran out the clock, and they're on their way to another score right here to open the 4th.
Power I formation. Handoff. And down to the 1 is Raymont Harris. So it'll be 3rd and goal from the 1. I want to get Raymont Harris that 4th touchdown.
Yeah, it looks like that they're aware that there's some major college scouts here tonight, and Raymont's got it all going. Hey, if it's doing what you want it to do, why try to fix?
We'll have to check with Ron Bacalar to see what the Admiral King record is for touchdowns in one game. Deep in the eye is Raymont Harris. Handoff goes to Raymont, dives over, touchdown. Raymont with number 4. 1 yard out, 10:42 left here in the 4th, and the lead is now 24-3.
Tim, I think that might have been the last nail in the coffin for the Lorain High Steelmen. Even though the Admirals have missed all of their extra point opportunities, now they have a 21-point lead, and it's getting to the point where it's insurmountable.
Zaikuta will attempt the extra point for the Admirals. They haven't made one yet. 24-3. Again, low snap, kick is up. Bob Brown got it down, and the kick is good. Nice hold from Bob Brown on a low snap. Zaikuta put it through, 25-3. Admiral King will be back right after this. Rushing mark, he's up around 240, somewhere in there.
238, I got.
Come on back after this. Nazario returns the kick for Lorain High out to the 30-yard line. So the Steelmen will start deep in their own territory. 1st down and 10, 70 yards to go, and they're down by 22, 25-3. And we checked with Ron Bacalar during that last timeout. The record for points in a game is 30, set by Joe Kozar back in 1962. Raymont with 24 tonight. And we are checking on the rushing record for the Admirals. Right now, Raymont Harris unofficially 238 on the night. And there's the triple formation, and this time Reardon sacked. Back at the 15-yard line, Eric Payne makes the sack on Reardon. Big loss of 15. And so the Admirals finally figured it out, and they dumped Sean Reardon for the 15-yard loss. But Ron Bacalar tells us the record for Admiral King previously was 225 yards by Jerry Dunlap. Now, unofficially, we have Raymont Harris for 238, so it appears as though Raymont has broken the Admiral King rushing record tonight.
Really has, and he's closing in on the scoring record as well. Credit the defense with figuring out how to put pressure on Sean that time.
Second and 25. Reardon throws it out, incomplete. Overthrew Nazario. As that time they went back to the standard formation. The first play was the double triple wide out, or the spread formation. And on this play they went back to the standard formation, and Nazario overthrown out at the 18-yard line.
Tim, Gary said in the second quarter what the Steelmen need to do opposite of what they did. They got to move the football, but they want to use as little time as possible, because 9:29 will get by much quicker when you're trailing by 22 points.
Third and 25, ball at the 15. Reardon back to pass, sets up in the pocket, lobs it out, complete to Miller at the 29-yard line. Threw that arcing pass again, and if the defensive back had turned around, he may have had the interception, but Miller was able to haul it in for a 14-yard gain. 4th and 11, though.
Well, again, he's going against a 20-mile-an-hour breeze with the fourth quarter, trailing also by, as I said, 22 points, 9 minutes and counting left in this contest.
So Tiemann will have to kick it away. Obviously, Jim Uzinski has no choice at this point. Clock under 9 minutes. Low snap, it bounces to Tiemann, and he gets the kick away. High, short, end-over-end kick. Bounces at the 45, takes an Admiral King bounce, and rolls dead at the 47-yard line. So the Admirals with great field position. Let's see if Coach Tom Cisco stays with his first-string offense. 8:40 left, 25-3.
I don't think that they're quite aware of the fact that Raymont is as close as he is. And right now, he's not in the offense.
No, he's not. Well, he has broken the rushing record. Again, unofficially, we have him for 238. And the Admiral King record was 225 yards in a ball game by Jerry Dunlap.
Dax Comer looks like he's in the ball game for the Admirals at tailback.
Congilio is still quarterbacking the squad. Backs are in the eye behind Dan. Wing to the right. Handoff goes to Taylor to the 50, to the 45, inside the 40, down to the 39-yard line. Joe Taylor picks up the first down. And a big play.
And a touchdown saving tackle that time by Arnett Oliver. Otherwise, Joe Taylor comes in. And here comes Raymont Harris.
So maybe word has been passed down that he's one touchdown away from tying the record.
Tim, if you're Coach Jim Uzinski and you're not coaching this game, it would be a lot of fun to watch Raymont tonight.
Yes, it would. Wing to the left. Handoff goes to Wicker. Wicker down to the 35-yard line, picks up 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6. Again, a reminder, coming up sometime during the ball game, we're going to give away a pair of Cleveland Browns tickets, courtesy of Malad Chevy Olds, and also after the game, the WOBL Friday Night High School Football Scoreboard Show. Keep you up to date on all the action in Lorain County and the surrounding areas.
Marlon Davis back in, replacing Hutz.
Davis lines up in the wing to the left. Hand off again to Wicker, and he's met at the line of scrimmage and driven back. Oh, what a hit by Mike Chaffee. Dan Ward also in on the stop.
Well, you know, the Steelmen still have a great deal of pride, and this game does mean a lot more to them than any other game except Elyria. And they certainly don't want to see Raymont get touchdown number 5.
So now it's 3rd and 6 for Admiral King at the Lorain High 36-yard line. Clock under 7 minutes. Handoff goes to Harris over left tackle. 35-30. Breaks outside and he's gone. 10-5 touchdown. Raymont Harris. 5 touchdowns on the night. A 36-yarder.
Now, if they let Raymont run for a 2-point conversion, not only can he break the rushing record, Tim, but he can break the scoring record that was set by Joe Kosar years ago for Admiral King.
He may be close to a 300-yard night now.
Oh, yeah.
36-yard touchdown run for Raymont Harris. Gives him 5 touchdowns on the night. Larry Gage will attempt the extra point. Again, low snap, kick is up, and it is good. And again, credit the holder, Bob Brown, with outstanding work on getting that snap down.
He really did a nice job, Tim, and Larry Gage put the heat on the ball.
32-3, Admiral King. 6:40 left. We'll be back right after this. We're way behind. Come on. Nazario on the return for Lorain High out over the 30 to the 31-yard line. So with a 32-3 deficit staring them in the face, Lorain High comes out on the field.
Tim, you got to be impressed, even if you're Lorain High coach Jim Yazinski and the Lorain Steelman fans. They've been very, very well entertained. Their offense moved the ball very well early on, but ever since the second quarter, it's been the Raymont Harris show.
We had word in the press box that Raymont's up over 330. We'll have to double check. That seems hard to believe. He's had a big night. I don't know if it's that big. Reardon, quick pass out to Miller. Complete to the 36-yard line. Pick up a 5. It'll be second down and 5.
Tim, they got to start throwing the ball deep. They don't need 6-yard square outs now. They're trailing by 29 points. Second down and 6 yards to go for the Steelman.
That's still only about 303 by my count. I might be off a few, but I don't think I'm off 70 yards.
Well, I think we're all in agreement it's over 300.
No, we're not. Second down and 5 at the 36-yard line. Pitch back goes to Ed Miller. Ed Miller breaks the tackle out over the 40 to the 42-yard line, and that was a late hit. Coming in was Tony Smith. He dove on him a little bit too late, and they'll add 15 yards onto that nice carry by Ed Miller.
They are very, very careful, the officials, Tim and Gary, anymore about spearing, and not only did Tony Smith come in late, but he came in helmet first, and that's spearing.
So they'll march off 15 against the Admirals. So Lorain High looking for something to build on again for next week in a game that we will have right here on WOBL. They'll take on the Southview Saints next Saturday night over here at George Daniel Field.
Hope the weather's good, because you talk about entertaining and balls in the air.
Both teams featuring that run and shoot offense.
And neither team having the kind of year win-loss wise that they'd like to be having.
So Lorain High, after the penalty, now at the Admiral King 43-yard line. First down and 10. Backs are split behind Reardon. Miller in the wing to the right now goes in motion, and flags fly.
Defensive end, yeah.
So they'll march off the penalty against Admiral King. Another 5-yarder against the Admirals.
Chris Blanton that time was lined up in the neutral zone, Tim. He was clearly a half-yard into the neutral zone, and all of a sudden, Lorain is amassed 20 yards and haven't run a play yet.
First and 5 at the Admiral King 38-yard line. Again, don't forget, tomorrow night, Elyria West will play host to the Cardinals from Brookside High School right here on WOBL. Pre-game show at 7 o'clock.
Another shootout.
Miller goes in motion from the wing right to the left. Pitch back goes to Ed Miller. Miller's got a couple of blocks. Gets to the 35, tries to cut back. And he's dropped at the 33-yard line, and again, flags down on the play.
Tim, can you see the difference between Ed Miller, who's a little jitterbug but doesn't have the weight that Raymont would just blow people over? You know, they hit Miller and he bounces back.
So they'll march off a penalty now against Lorain High, a holding call. So first and 5 now becomes first and 15. So they march it off The ball's pushed back to the 42-yard line. Wasn't a holding call, illegal motion, excuse me. So the penalty sets up a 1st down and 10 for Lorain High, right originally where they started from anyway. So they trade penalties. And Lorain High will just start all over. Miller splits wide to the right. McGinty to the short side of the field, the left. Wing to the left, single back is Miller to hand off to the wing on that misdirection play. And to the 40 goes Zante, and again, flags fly, and I think they'll call a late hit again on Admiral King.
I think you're right, Tim. One that they could probably do without, because the defender was slipping into the runner instead of diving into him, and it hit face mask to face mask.
And there they do. They march it off. Big.
That wasn't your typical vicious late hit.
No, it was sort of an excuse me kind of hit, and you know, the game is obviously in a situation where, unless they got a 28-point play here, the Steelmen are not going to win this football game, but they do need to get a score for a confidence builder.
Definitely need a confidence builder. So now it's 1st down at the 25-yard line of Admiral King with 4.5 minutes left in the ball game. 32-3. The Admirals have put this one out of reach. Reardon back to pass, pump fake, rolling to the right. Here comes the pressure, still rolling. Jumps, throws, complete to Miller, and a flag flies.
Oh, no doubt about that. Interference is going to be called, but Miller caught the ball anyway.
Saunders then took it away from him. Miller had the ball. Saunders literally leapfrogged on his back and took it away. And I think they'll call interference on Saunders.
Yeah, I think you would say he was draped all over him a little prematurely, but credit Sean Reardon with an excellent throw, running to his right, throwing back across the green.
Puts a lot of arc on that ball, though.
Well, you know, having gotten 3 knocked down in the first half, he's trying to avoid those defensive linemen with those big paws, and those make it a little easier for the defense to intercept.
So they'll march off the penalty against Admiral King. And this has been simply a drive with penalties for Lorain High. Really haven't moved the ball that well offensively. Just big mistakes by the Admirals.
He's giving them 45 yards on penalties.
I was getting ready to say the same thing, and if you get 45 on penalties, that means if you start at the goal line, you only got to get a 65-yard drive. Lorain's got to throw the ball into the end zone now, Tim. They got to get some points without moving that clock much.
1st down and 10 at the Admiral King 13-yard line, 4:15 left here in the 4th quarter of play. Reardon back to pass in the pocket, now rolling to the right, now rolling to the left, coming all the way back across the field. Looks, throws, and complete to Miller down at the 10-yard line. And Reardon was hit after he threw it. And
Greg Lucene.
It appears as though there will be roughing the passer. There it is. The call goes against Admiral King. Boy, Reardon, he makes things exciting back there.
Yes, he does. Again, the scrambling feet a la Fran Tarkington. I believe, if Gary, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's going to be 53 yards in penalties on this drive.
I believe it is, Sid.
So they'll march it off again against the Admirals.
And the only reason it's not more is because they're inside the 20, so it's going to be a half the distance to the goal line penalty.
Ball now at the 6-yard line. Well, you can't score on a penalty, so Lorain will have to get it in on their own. Admiral King will maybe set them up even a little bit closer.
They've actually moved the ball from their 29-yard line to the Admiral 6 in 29 seconds, thanks to the penalties.
The thing about penalties is that the clock does not stop, so the clock has continued to move. Under 4 minutes left here in the 4th. Pitch back to Ed Miller. Miller looking to break outside, cuts back, hit, racked up at the 8-yard line. He lost 2. He kept stringing it out. He should have cut back at some point. He never did. And the Admiral King pursuit caught up with him at the 8.
And if you don't cut back, Tim, you got to have the presence of mind to get out of bounds and kill the clock.
Loss of 2 on the play. 2nd down and goal from the 8-yard line. Admiral King next week, again on WOBL. 3rd consecutive week we'll have the Admirals. They'll take on Elyria High next Friday night.
Should be an exciting contest.
Should be a good ball game over at Ely Stadium. Backs are split behind Sean Reardon. Reardon running the option play. Pitches back, loose, picked up Nazario, down. at the 12-yard line. So they lost 4 on that play.
Tim, if they could have executed that pitch cleanly, I think Patrick might have had an opportunity to score a touchdown.
Ball under 3 minutes, clock under 3 minutes. Ball out at the 12-yard line. And there's 2:45 remaining, and it's 3rd down and goal for Lorain High. They're at the Admiral King 12. And as you said, Sid, right now they're just looking to get something for confidence sake to build for next week. They trail 32-3 as Raymont Harris with 5 touchdown runs for the Admirals tonight. Reardon single back behind him as Ed Miller sends Zante in motion from wing left to the right. Looks, throws it out to Miller. Miller knocked out of bounds at the 7-yard line. So it'll set up 4th and goal from the 7 with 2:20 left in the ball game.
Well, they did the smart thing. They killed the clock. They got a quick out to Miller, but as you said, Tim, they've got to throw the ball into the end zone. They need a 29-point play in a big hurry.
I don't know if any of those exist.
Even my what-ifs wouldn't work tonight.
No.
Too much of a deficit and too little clock.
Miller to the right. Nazario goes in motion. Reardon back to pass. Here comes the rush from the left end, so he comes back to the right, throws in the end zone, and he overthrew Miller, and he had him. He had Jim Miller at the pylon, and he overthrew it. And the ball will go over on downs to the Admirals, and they'll run the clock out with 2:13 left here in the 4th. We'll be back right after this.
Number 32, Joe Taylor, the ball carrier. Run out of bounds by number 44, Chris Choppy. 13 yards on the play.
Taylor gets the handoff and brings it out to the 19-yard line for the Admirals. Right now, the Admirals just looking to run out the clock. They took a timeout. That's why we had the extra commercial. 1:43 left here in the ball game. Admiral King with a 32-3 lead, and Taylor in for Raymont Harris is hit hard at the 21-yard line.
Wholesale substitutions for the Admirals now, Tim. All the second teamers in there.
So the Admirals will come out with a victory.
Joe Taylor obviously looks like the tailback of the future for replacing Raymont Harris, but it seems like each year, Tim, one of the Lorain schools come up with a brilliant tailback.
It appears that way. And for the first time this year, Admiral King has played nice games back-to-back. They've been an up-and-down club. And they finally put 2 good ball games back-to-back, and that's important as you build for the second half of the season. Taylor again with the handoff out over the 25 to the 26-yard line. Clock under a minute, 50 seconds left in the ball game.
Looks like we might get one more play out of it, Tim, but you got to be very delighted if you're Coach Tommy Osisco with the team's performance offensively and defensively tonight. Even though they were a little frustrated by that double spread formation, they rallied behind their big offensive line, and Raymont Harris put on quite a show.
Taylor deep in the eye. This may be the last play of the game. Clock at 30 seconds. Handoff goes to Taylor, looking to break outside and ridden out of bounds. So we'll play one more time, and he's tackled in the Lorain High bench. Admiral fans want the flag. They don't get it. 24 seconds left, and Joe Taylor showing he's an outstanding back as well. And again, I'd certainly like to say it has been our pleasure to work with Mr. Bob Quinlan and have this game telecast on WLCS television on Lorain Cable Channel 36. We hope you enjoyed the broadcast. It was a lot of fun to call.
It really was, and it was very exciting. Even though the score is a little lopsided right now, the fans certainly got their money's worth, and we think the viewing audience as well as the broadcast listening audience will be delighted as well.
Handoff goes to the wingman. Big hole. 45-50 down to the 47-yard line. They gave it to the wingman who had lined up to the left. They ran that misdirection.
Harvey
all
Washington.
the way to the wide side of the field, the right side. He got down to the 47-yard line of Lorain.
Tim, if that had been Raymont, it would have been touchdown number 6. Harvey didn't have quite the speed.
And they'll let the clock run out. 5, 4, 3. So the Admirals get the victory tonight over at George Daniel Field. They knock off the Steelmen from Lorain High School.
32-3. They remain in the race for the Erie Shores Conference title. Their record 2-1 in Erie Shores play. Lorain falls 22 1-2. Again, it's been our pleasure to bring the ball game to you on WLCS TV. We hope you enjoyed it. For our radio audience, we'll be back right after this.